Welcome to class. We are going to talk about adverbs today and a very quick review of it. So, we won't be discussing in detail the concept called adverbs, grammatical categories, but we'll have a very quick and functional details of adverbs in English. An adverb is a word or a set of words that modifies verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. Now, if you look at the word adverb, it adds to the verb, right? It expresses when, where, and how an action is performed or indicates the quality of degree of the action. For example, sentence like Shelley is always ready for help. The word always here. He loved her very much. Very much. The combination of two words. Time is running out fast. That it adds to the verb fast. The word fast adds to the verb run. I gave that willingly. Again, willingly, the word adds to the verb gave. So, adverbs is a word or group of words that adds to or modifies or gives us additional information about verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs and indicates how the action is being performed, how the verb is being performed. So that we call adverbs. And adverb clauses and adverb phrases, right? Adverb clauses and adverb phrases are clauses and phrases that modify the verbs and adjectives and other adverbs in a sentence. It's at a sentential level. So, for example, sentences like he carried the load until he was tired. It's a complete clause. Until he was tired, a full sentence. Until he was tired, a complete clause that modifies the verb in the sentence. Second example of the same, something like Maya arrived carrying her suitcases with two hands. So carrying her suitcases with two hands, the entire chunk modifies the arrival of Maya. That it adds to the information of the verb arrive in the sentence. Something like you are irritated without any reason. Without any reason is an adverb phrase which modifies the verb irritated. So adverb clauses and adverb phrases are clauses and phrases which modify the verbs, adjectives, or other adverbs in the sentence. Moving on, we will go by a very generic classification of adverbs because I told you that we will be talking about the functional aspect of adverbs. Very quick review of that. So we'll have a generic classification of adverbs like adverbs of manner. So it talks about how the action is being performed. Adverbs of degree, it talks about how much, right? Adverbs of place or direction, it talks about where or in what direction, right? Another category is adverbs of time or frequency. So when, the time, and how often, the frequency. Sentence adverbs, there are some adverbs which come in the beginning of a sentence and they take entire sentence in its scope and modifies entire sentence. So they are called sentence adverbs. We'll have a series of examples. And then conjunctive adverbs where they work as a linker. right? And link the clauses. So these are generic classification of adverbs. We'll go to each of them one after the other. So we'll start with adverbs of manner. How? So it talks about how. So look at the example, something like, we should distribute the workload equally. So the word equally talks about the manner of distribution. So this modifies the verb distribute, and this is adverb of manner. Something like hold it carefully, right? So it is an imperative sentence. Hold it carefully. The word carefully is an adverb which adds to the verb hold. Something like, he is improving slowly. So the manner of improvement, which is slow. So slowly the word adds on to, modifies the verb improve. So he is improving slowly. Uh, Example like, Maya runs very fast. Fast, right, is an adverb that adds on to the verb run. So Maya runs very fast. So these are the adverbs like equally, like carefully, like slowly, like fast. They add to the verb of the corresponding sentences, and they give us the information about the manner in which the action is being performed by the agent or the subject of the sentence. So that is a manner of adverbs of manner, how the action is being performed. It is easy to identify such words, such adverbs in sentences if we keep an eye on the ending of the word. Example like beautifully. So, beautiful is an adjective, beautifully, adverb. Equally, equal is an adjective, equally, ly, added to it, makes it an adverb. These are adverb forming suffixes. Thankfully, carefully, handily, quickly, coldly, hotly, resentfully, earnestly, nicely, tirelessly, etc. You can continue the list. The list continues. Are common adverbs of manner, and these adverbs usually end in suffix ly. Right? So I hope you get this and quickly identify these adverbs. So you find these adverbs or such words with ly combination at the end of the word, and they're adverbs of manner. So adverbs of manner add to the verb and indicate how the action is being performed. All right. Okay, let us move to adverbs of degree. How much? So adverbs of degree explain or indicate or express the amount or the you know amount of work which is being performed. How much? So look at examples. Something like Jessie completely forgot about her appointment. So Jessie completely forgot her appointment, about her appointment, right? Completely. So it talks about how much degree of forgetting the appointment. Absolutely, completely, right? The policeman examined the document thoroughly. So the word thoroughly adds to the examination of the document by police. So police is the agent. The action being performed in this case, in this sentence, is examining the document. And what is the degree? Thoroughly. So thoroughly as an adverb adds to the verb examine, indicating the degree, how much. So thoroughly, right? Uh, she was so excited about the new place. So very excited about the new place, right? Adverb. I hardly go to theater. So hardly as an adverb indicates that I don't go to theater often, right? So degree of my going to theater, it is indicated in this sentence. So degree of adverbs of degree tells us how much, right? How often. Uh, so we have to distinguish between this ly, like completely, that we talked about in adverbs of manner, but here the same ending, thoroughly, completely, they are adverbs of degree. So when you have the how much question, like how much, and if it answers, it is adverb of degree. So adverb that expresses the importance, degree, or level of action in the sentences are called adverbs of degree. They answer the questions how much is the action performed. So words like completely, nearly, entirely, less, mildly, most, thoroughly, somewhat, excessively, much, etc. are the common adverbs of degree. All right. Then let us move to the third category of adverbs called adverbs of place, direction. Right. So they're like didactic, they give didactic information, distant direction, or the space or the location where the action is being performed, right? So if you look at the examples such as I went through the jungle. Through the jungle acts here as an adverb. He works in a bank. In a bank acts here as an adverb. Maya is going to college. So to college acts as an adverb. We are staying at a cottage, you know, at a cottage acts as an adverb. So functionally, these phrases that we have in bold fonts act as adverbs of place and direction. So adverbs of place and directions that indicate place or direction of the action in these sentences, and they answer the question where is the action being performed. So location, right? So something some common adverbs of place or direction are across, over, under, in, out, through, backward, there, around, here, sideways, upstairs, in the park, in the field, in the place, etc. They are very common adverbs of place or directions because they add on to the verb, which and they indicate what is the location where the action is being performed and in what direction. So they are called adverbs of place or direction. Okay, we move to another category, adverbs of time or frequency. So when, how often, such questions are answered by such words in a sentence, and they are called adverbs of time and frequency of the action. So they talk about the timing and the frequency of the action, how often the action is being performed. So something like, I arrived at the airport a little late yesterday, right? Yesterday, again, an adverb of time, a little late yesterday, that talks about the time of my arrival at the airport. It adds on to the verb arrive. He always gets a good result. Or something like the PM will leave. Okay, I'm sorry, this word leave is missing here. Let us put it here. The PM will leave for America on Monday. I go to theater occasionally. So the words like a little late yesterday, he always gets a good result. The PM will leave for America on Monday. So Monday, occasionally, always, little late yesterday. So words like yesterday, they are adverbs of time and frequency. So they answer questions like when, or how often. So, some common adverbs of time and frequency are like always, never, often, eventually, now, frequently, occasionally, once, forever, seldom, or any day, Sunday, Monday, whatever point of time or day of you refer to, 10 a.m., 12. Such words in the sentence act as an adverb of time or frequency, right? So we need to keep these things in mind. Another category of adverbs, sentence adverbs. And why do you call it sentence adverbs? Because they take entire sentence in their scope. So entire predicate in their scope, right? So hopefully I will finish the assignment. So this word hopefully takes the entire sentence and the action being performed in the predicate into its scope. And they usually occur at the beginning of the sentence. So hopefully I will finish the assignment. Apparently the days are getting hotter. Certainly you did not consider asking for my permission. So words like hopefully, apparently, certainly, they occur in the beginning of the sentence and take entire sentence into their scope. So they are being topicalized. They are being fronted in the beginning of the sentence, and these adverbs take entire sentence in their scope. Right? When we say they take entire sentence in their scope, that means the meaning is governed and controlled by the placing of these adverbs in the beginning of it, and entire sentence undergoes the influence of these adverbs. So they are modifying the entire sentence. So adverbs indicating the attitude and point of view of the speaker or writer usually go at the beginning. These adverbs are called sentence adverbs because they refer to whole sentence or utterance. So, you know, something like, let's say, actually, I think the meeting is on Wednesday, right? Like, obviously, words like obviously, actually, hopefully, apparently, certainly, they are sentence adverbs which are fronted, brought in front of the sentence, and they take entire sentence into its scope. And because they take entire sentence in their scope for meaning and interpretation, they are known as sentence adverbs. Moving on, uh, conjunctive adverbs, right? Another category of adverbs, conjunctive adverbs. And what do they do? They connect independent clauses and phrases, right? And they also represent transition of ideas, and they also indicate relationship. So transition of ideas, relationship, and they work as a connector. So some examples like the train started very late, nonetheless it arrived at destination on time. Now look at this word nonetheless. So it makes the first sentence, you know, and then the second sentence to be linked together. It links these two sentences together, and it provides the the idea that even if the train was late, it did not delay and arrived on time. So these two contradictory things, one starting very late and the other arrival on time. These are two contradictory ideas which are linked. So at the level of idea and at the level of structure as well, if you see, the train started very late, full stop. It's a full sentence alone, independent sentence. If I say the train arrived at the destination on time, again a full sentence. complete sentence, and absolutely no connector required. But when we put these two sentences together, we need to have a connector which connects them, like coordinate conjunctions like and we use in English. So, for example, I reached home and I changed my clothes, right? Two actions linked together. Here, this linker nonetheless acts as a connector for these two sentences, full sentences, independent sentences, which work as, you know, they have an independent meaning, but they are being connected, and it indicates the transition between ideas, and it shows the relationship between these two clauses. The train started very late, nonetheless, it arrived at destination on time. So, two contradictory ideas connected together. Look at the second example. We're still not sure about X. However, if the opportunity will come. So, the coming of an opportunity, right, is not being seen as certainty. So, we are not still sure. One sentence and opportunity will come. Another sentence. However, is is working here as a connector which connects these two clauses, right? And it shows relationship. Right? The third sentence, like last year there was little rain. One complete idea, one complete sentence. The second sentence, we did not have good harvest. Okay, another complete sense, another complete sentences. But these two are connected with a word consequently. That means it is depending. The interpretation of the first is being depending on the understanding of the sentence one. It works as connector, and it is working as a conjunctive adverb, right? Because it modifies on the verb. So consequently, so consequent upon the less rain last year, the resultant was that the harvest was not good, right? So last year there was little rain, consequently we did not have good harvest. So here consequently, or however, or nonetheless, such kind of words are adverbs, conjunctive adverbs, which connect two ideas, which shows relationship between two ideas. It connects these two ideas expressed in two independent different sentences, and they are called conjunctive adverbs. Uh, so this is about adverbs, and we will continue our discussion. And if you have some questions, we can answer those in the next class in our next videos. Thank you.